Welcome to workout number 21. Today's workout is a mobility focused flow. So we've done a lot of strength training and now we're gonna start working on loosening up some of these muscles. The first movement that we have is gonna be the pigeon, and there's a few variations that we can do for this. The first one is gonna be this full setup here. So we have the shin out in front, and then we wanna have the hips be fairly level with one another. If you find that there's like a ton of space between your butt and the floor, you can take like a yoga block and you can put it underneath the hips to give it just a little bit more support. But Laura's hips are pretty close to the floor, so she really doesn't need the block, but know that it is an option for you. For this back leg, you're just gonna keep it pretty straight, and then you can either be in this upright position or you can lower down depending on your comfort. And we'll stay here for about 30 seconds, but know that you can stay here longer if it feels good for you, so you don't have to follow the on-demand video. And then we would flip to the other side. Another option, if this setup is not working for you, would be in a seated position, and you'll just bring the ankle on top of the opposite knee, and then you can sit here. With here, you can take your hands and you can push yourself forward. So if you put your hands behind you, you can kind of push your torso forward to bring you a little bit deeper into the hip. But depending on if you're like in your third trimester of pregnancy, this may not be super comfortable. So we can do deer pose, which is gonna be a cross-legged position. So you can come down where both legs are just gonna be stacked over one another. So ankle stacked over the knee if you can face the camera. And then this top leg is gonna be the leg that we're feeling most of the stretch in. So you'll do your 30 seconds like this, and then you'll flip over to do the other side. With this, you can also lean forward towards the legs, which is gonna bring you a little bit deeper into it as well. But again, if you're late within your pregnancy, you might need to find a position that feels better for you with your belly. The next movement we have is gonna move into the inner thighs, and it's gonna be the adductor rock back. So straighten that leg out to the side. With this movement, you're gonna be feeling it in the inner thigh, and you're gonna rock your hips back towards your heel. You can pause here at the bottom, and then shifting the weight back forward. So this is gonna be more of a dynamic stretch. So shifting the weight back to feel the stretch in the inner thigh, and then coming back forward. The other thing that we could add into that is at the bottom, you can put this arm down and rotate towards this side. So opening up, and it's gonna bring you deeper into that inner thigh. And so we'll do 30 seconds on this side, and then flip to the other side. The final movement we have is gonna be cat-cow. So you're gonna come into a tabletop position, and you're gonna drop the belly to the floor to a level that feels good for you. So we don't wanna be feeling tons of straining in the abdomen. And then you're gonna pull the spine towards the ceiling to find this arching. And same thing, finding a level of depth that feels good for you. So we don't wanna go to extremes during pregnancy and the early postpartum. We wanna find a point that feels like it's a sensation that we're looking for, but not going beyond red line for us. And so we'll do 30 seconds of kind of flowing between the two. You can think, exhale to drop the belly to the floor, and then inhale to feel the back expand as you arch the back. Or you can do a full round of breath at this point, and then a full round of breath at the belly towards the floor. So pick whatever breathing preference works best for you. So for today's workout, we're gonna do 2 rounds, 30 seconds per side of each of these movements. But know that if you wanna stay longer in the posture, feel free. And if you wanna do more rounds, you can as well. So go ahead and get into your preference of the pigeon position, either this half pigeon like this, we can do the seated figure 4, or you can do the full deer pose where the legs are stacked on one another. Try to focus on the hips being fairly level with one another. Sometimes there's a tendency to rock towards that externally rotated leg or the leg that's in front. And again, you can be upright position or you can lower down. So take a deep inhale, feeling that pelvic floor lengthen and expand, almost like stretching within the pelvic floor. And then exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the posture. Big inhale to feel expansion in the back and into the glutes. And then exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then go ahead and switch sides. And again, if you want to stay longer in each of these postures, feel free to pause the video and stay here a little bit more. You don't have to follow the on-demand video. So making sure that we're even between both hips. Again, there's a tendency to rock towards the forward leg. And then we can maintain an upright position or we can lower down towards the floor. And then whatever variation you did on the other side, do the same thing on this side as well. So either the seated figure 4 or deer pose. So big inhale down into that pelvic floor, and then exhale, release, and sink a little bit deeper into the posture. Another big inhale down, and then exhale, release. The next movement we have is that adductor rock back. So straightening one leg out and then tucking the other heel behind you. And you're going to rock back towards the hips and then coming back forward. So sinking back to feel that big stretch in that inner thigh. If we want to add that rotation, place the inside arm down and then you'll rotate up. So coming down, yep, just like that. So you'll feel a little bit more because this rotation is going to bring you a little bit deeper into that inner thigh stretch. So rocking back, and you can pause at either end range as well. So you can just sit at the bottom with this rotation, it feels good for you, or we can make this more dynamic and kind of rocking back and forth. And go ahead and switch sides. So again, if you want to sit in any of these postures longer, feel free to. You don't have to follow the video. We're only doing 30 seconds per side. So begin to rock back into those hips. Feel that stretch in the inner thigh. If you want to add the rotation, feel free. This is just going to bring you deeper into it. Coming forward and then rocking back. And then you can take a full round of breath at the bottom and at the top, or you can inhale to come up and then exhale to sink a little bit deeper. So coming forward, and again, you can maintain at the bottom if you want to stay in the stretch, or you can make this more dynamic by rocking back and forth. Moving on to the final movement of this round is gonna be those cat-cow. So come into your tabletop position, and we're gonna lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Maybe we take an inhale there, feeling expansion in the back, and then exhale to drop the belly down to the floor. Finding a level of depth that feels good for you. So we don't have to find our biggest point of expansion or extension and flexion. We can kind of go like 80%, 50%, whatever's feeling good for your body and whatever sensation you're trying to look for. So big inhale to lift the back towards the ceiling, and we'll feel the ribs expand from one another. And then exhale, drop the belly to the floor. Feeling that back stretch, feeling the belly stretch. Moving back to round number 2, back to our pigeon pose, finding the variation that feels best for you in your body and explore it. You don't have to do just 30 seconds per side. So leg is out in front. We're gonna take a big inhale down into that pelvic floor. Feel it lengthen and stretch down towards your foot. And then exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then choosing the setup that works best for you, either arms up like this, or you can drop down to the forearms, you can drop the head, and then sit here for as long as you like. We're only gonna be 30 seconds per side, but you can always pause this video and stay here a little bit longer. So big inhale down into that pelvic floor, and then exhale to release. Switching sides, so bringing that other leg forward. The other leg is gonna kick back. If you're doing some of the other variations, just switching to the opposite side. And then you can do the same setup on this side, or you can do a different setup. So either torso's upright or down on your forearms, making sure those hips are level with one another. If you wanna add in any props, feel free. Big inhale down into that pelvic floor, feel it lengthen and stretch, and then exhale to sink a little bit deeper. Another big inhale down. So we're trying to feel that pelvic floor stretch and push downwards, and then exhale to just release and let it recoil back in. Moving on to that adductor rock back. So one leg is gonna be straight. You're gonna tuck the heel under the other foot. So we're looking for this big inner thigh stretch here. And so to make this dynamic, we're gonna rock back and forth. If you wanna maintain a stationary position at the bottom, feel free as well. At the bottom, you can either keep the torso towards the floor, or you can rotate away from that straight leg to bring a little bit more intensity to it. So finding the variation that works best for you. So maybe we exhale to sink back so we can move deeper into it. Inhale to come on up, or we can take a full round of breath at each point. So rocking back, feel that big stretch in that hamstring. Add the rotation if you'd like. And then let's switch sides. So bringing that foot underneath the hips, straighten the other leg. And you may find that one side feels a lot tighter than the other, and that's perfectly normal. We're not symmetrical, so we always have some asymmetry to ourselves. And so it's okay to spend a little bit more time on that side that you feel like has a little bit more tension to it. So coming on up and then shifting the hips back, add the rotation if you'd like. And again, you can hold the bottom of positions for a little bit longer if you want more of the stretch, or we can make this more dynamic and allow us to flow through it, which is gonna bring different levels of tension throughout the inner thigh. Moving on to our final movement, that cat-cow. So again, finding the level of depth that feels best for you in this posture. You don't have to go 100%. Maybe it's like 50%, maybe it's 80%. So feel the ribs expand from one another, and then drop the belly to the floor to feel the belly stretch. And so usually it's the extension one that feels more uncomfortable during pregnancy and early postpartum. So just be mindful of any sort of straining. Like we want like a little bit of a stretch, but it shouldn't be like painful or like strenuous for you and your abdomen. So rounding the back, feeling that expansion in the ribs, and then exhale, drop the belly to the floor. So that concludes workout number 21. Today was our mobility focused workout. If you enjoyed this flow, check out our yoga on demand videos. We have them for each trimester of pregnancy, and it's taught by Casey Backus, who is a 500-hour yoga instructor. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so that it helps our channel grow and we can continue to give you free content like this.